Do you want to know a simple 9-step formula and on how to create simple but straightforward Rominimal percussion sequences and glitch sequences without buying new plugins, basically using freeware tools and Max for Live devices and Ableton Live plugins, and some texture sounds or any kind of recording can do the job? This week's video is perfectly fitted to you. Need to get the massage. Sometimes I just talk weird shit into the microphone, you know, to get into the mood of recording. Anyway, let's get straight to the point, but a little background story here to tell you the story how I actually came up to this Valhalla plugin. First of all, I'm currently on vacation, so don't worry if the background changes and is a little bit weird than the usual one, but who cares, right? I mean, after all, you're here for results. Anyway, so I sneaked around this bookshop the other day and I was really sneaky, honestly. I didn't buy a music magazine, who by the way buys music magazines nowadays? Anyway, I checked the magazine, it says best freeware tools, whatever, right? And I took some photos, and one plugin in there was Valhalla, Supermassive, and others, right? So I didn't actually know that Valhalla has free plugins. So later in the day, in the evening, when the kids were asleep, I jumped on the mystical internet, downloaded the mystical free tool, and mystically experimented inside Ableton with that plugin. And yeah, this video is basically the result. Valhalla Supermassive does a good job on those percussions, glitches, whatnot. You can get great results with this plugin, I would say, in my opinion. And yeah, let's jump right in to the Ableton session. But before we do, as always, if you're new to this channel, or if you following this channel for quite a bit, get some value out of it, get inspiration from it, I highly recommend to download I call it one tool preset pack based on Ableton Live stock plugins that can easily transform your basic sounds into something else. Basically, those are little presets based on one Ableton Live effect, but I assigned some different macros to it, so you can easily access those important parameters and transform any sound into something new. I think those tools are really inspiring. Whenever you get stuck, just drop some tools in it, dial some macros, and hopefully end up with the different results that spark even more inspiration. So if this sounds interesting to you, grab it on the link below. So yeah, now let's jump over to this week's video. My name is Silvano from roughlystudio.com, and on this channel you find weekly videos around the topic Rominimal and micro house, with the goal to hopefully inspire, infuse you, motivate you, go this crazy road of production, creativity, sound design, mixing, whatever is out there, because sometimes we get stuck, right? So hopefully I can help you to get focused and stay motivated. And sometimes I need to motivate myself too, right? So yeah, this channel keeps me motivated actually. So yeah, and you too, by leaving comments and whatnot. So yeah, I talk too much. Let's jump over to Ableton. Let's get started with the first step. Alright, step number one is basically very simple. Just choosing a sound source. In my case here, I've chosen a texture recording from a sample pack, and I'm simply choosing a section that I like and hopefully works. This is more like a jam, you know. And yeah, let's see. And then simply crop the audio. Step number two is I basically use the transients and slice them to a new drum rack, right? So I have all different little samples in a drum rack, and they sound actually quite similar, right? Because it's a texture recording, but still we can get something cool out of it, I think. So third step is really, we need something to trigger the sound, right? In kind of a random order to get some textures out of it. And my favorite tool is to use MD Snake. It's a freeware tool, and I use random settings here, like random notes, also experimenting with the playback direction. And what I like to do is to use another MD Snake, another instance of MD Snake to actually trigger the playback direction of the first one, right? With the custom setting with the velocity, right? So we get lots of random triggers here, kind of messy right now, but I think we get there. We can also experiment with different speed settings, of course. Really, this is open for experimentation. I'm sure you come up with something interesting that that you like, hopefully. Then step number 4, play with different settings, and basically we need to randomize those settings, right? Again, so what I like to do is playing with the length of the different little slices that we created, right? Here we can get some nice glitches and stuff out of it if we use the start offset. Now, again, as you can see, I trigger them with MD Snake, right? Like a sequence. So we get some kind of glitches out of it. Right? Next step, simply record the result to a new audio track. I've already done that, and now I'm experimenting with pitches, maybe different warp settings, and maybe even transient envelopes to make the sound a little bit more percussive. I use that a lot for audio tracks and samples and whatnot. Yeah, again, experimentation is key, right? Let's see. Not too exciting right now, but yeah, let's go to the next step. And I like to use Audio Damage Big Sequencer. It's a freeware tool from their legacy selection. It's basically like a multi-effect sequencer, like similar to Tantra maybe, but it's a very old plugin. And again, I'm using different settings like random sequence here. Maybe playing a little bit with step size. Let's see. I like to experiment with different random parameters and see what I come up with. Yeah, because in the end, honestly, music creation and stuff is a lot about experimentation and trying things out, and sometimes we are lucky to get something cool out of it, and sometimes simply not, you know. So yeah, let's see what we can get out of this one. Maybe an EQ to cut some lows, because I don't want, I need that space for the subs, right, for the kick and for the bass line. Next step, yeah, basically again adjusting the audio recording to make it a little bit more percussive. Again, I'm using different warp settings and transient envelopes, right? Transient envelope can basically make every audio file very percussive. Let's crop that maybe. out the plugin. I'll come to this plugin later because I changed this up. Again, this is broken down from a longer recording, right, from a jam session. So I didn't really want to waste your time and just cut out the good stuff here to you, right? So step number 8 is inserting Valhalla Supermassive plugin and using shift and delay time to make a little bit more, you know, glitches and stuff, and automating that, right? So this again, there you go, we have some nice glitches here. We can use the feedback to determine the pitch of it, right? As you can hear. And I use an LFO to control that. Step number 9, use an LFO or other random modulation source, whatever you want, to control these parameters, right? You could also use MD Snake again if you like, but I like to use an LFO. It's simple, straightforward, and I can also, yeah, I'm basically used to use it, right? You know. Now we just need to find the right modulation source here. Right. So we get some nice glitches here, I would say. And you can again print this to audio if you like. But I hope you get the point here. Basically, this is a 9-step formula framework that should help you, get you inspired to build your very own glitches, percussive elements, and whatnot, right? Maybe you could even sample this again and then slice again to a new drum rack. Basically resampling, and then use those triplets and little snippets and whatnot to make other kind of percussions, right? Percussion sequences. Again, I'm using the random setting here, and I use a second LFO to control the delay time, as you can hear. So we get even more glitchier sounds if you like. Of course, very short delay times. You can see 0.1 to, I don't know, 5. It's basically all very short, right? That's what creates those glitches and whatnot. And with the feedback again, we determine the pitch of those glitches and whatnot. Again, playing with the transient envelope from the clip, with the pitch maybe. Now let's listen in context quickly. Let's add a little bit of reverb maybe. Again, I have here a reverb from Audio Damage Freeware tool. Again, it's inside the legacy setting. You find the link below this video if you want to download it for free. Right? Maybe I would use a compressor or a limiter to get some peaks. peaks. Yeah, and that's basically the whole framework. Yeah, let's recap this quickly. Number 1, insert a sample, whatever you like. Step number 2, slice to a new drum rack. Step number 3, use some random trigger to trigger those little snippets. Step number 4, play with different sample lengths and starts and randomize those buttons again. Record or print to audio. Step number 6, I used audio damage freeware big sequencer to make it a little bit more gated signal, maybe I shorten it, more percussive. Step number 7, adjusting recording, like pitch it up, pitch it down, shorten it with a transient envelope. And step number 8, use Valhalla supermassive with short delay time, the shift button, and maybe also feedback to determine the pitch of the glitches and whatnot. And last but not least, step number 9, automate that parameters again if you like in random, or yeah, you can also use it not randomly. Again, it's open for experimentation. This basically should serve you as a 9-step formula, kind of as a framework to hopefully inspire you to come up with your very own unique percussions and glitches and whatnot. A great tool for that again is Valhalla Supermassive. It's a freeware tool, and I actually didn't know about that Valhalla actually has freeware plugins. But yeah, they have 3 of them for glitches and stuff. I found Supermassive actually the best one because of those parameters that I just mentioned. So yeah, as a next step, maybe go and download Supermassive from Valhalla if you don't have it already, and experiment with that and with this simple 9-step formula, and hopefully you get some glitches, percussive elements out of it. Hopefully this was inspiring, and also don't forget to download my free Ableton Live 1 tool preset pack. And yeah, if you want that, grab it. It's completely for free. It's on the link below. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful. Thanks again. Hope to see you in next week's video. Cheers. Bye bye.